Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody posted this on Facebook and asked to match the font. I don't know if they mean the actual font or the text to path on this particular item. It's pretty close to Times New Roman is probably the font. I mean, I'm looking at it and it's pretty sure it's Times New Roman. So there's a couple ways to do this. First of all, we're going to make this TH. I thought I'd save that for the video. Just select it. And this font is 28, so let's make this 20 and actually make it 18. And it made that font still capital and still there. Now, this is difficult. It's not going to be perfect. I mean, it's just going on that sharp angle, it's going to be difficult, but we're going to try it two different ways. So I just took a picture of their picture off the internet, off Facebook. I'm going to outline trade clip art because I'm just going to get the shape and I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to make a duplicate of that and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to left click, right click because really all I want is the line. I want this line, the bottom line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a 2-point line and go right here, and a 2-point line and go right here. And I'm going to take my virtual segment delete key. I'm going to delete that line, and I'm going to delete that line. And then I'm going to grab that line, and I'm going to go up to object, and I'm going to, well, you know what? It might be just a line by itself. Yes. So now I can just move that. Well, no, I've got to ungroup it. Let's ungroup all. I don't normally ever do that. Okay, you see how I clicked on the line and it got more than the line because there's line up there. So go to object and break the curve apart. Then grab that line. So there's our path. Now, normally I would contour to try to get it in the middle, but it's a little difficult. And so all I'm going to do is Control D and make a duplicate. And while holding down the control button, I'm just going to move that up a little bit. And that's going to give me the path off the path so I can put it in here later. So while we're right here, let's do this. Let's get rid of these this tech. Corel does just not trace paths or trace fonts. And I'm trying to do this without getting anything else. And so it might take a couple of 3 tries. I'm not getting really any. Whoop. See, as long as I don't get more than the whole thing. Okay. So evidently they've got the file on this, hopefully, that's vector. So now we're going to take my wordage and we're going to check one thing before we do it. I'm actually going to turn this top line red so we'll know which line we got. And I'm going to hit it with the shape tool. Okay, if you look, the arrow is going right to left. I want it to go left to right. So I'm going to select them both. I'm going to right click and reverse the subpath. If I don't do that, the words will not fit in there. They'll try to go on the back side. I'm just guessing at the size. You could actually measure that line. But then we're going to go, so I'm going to do this a couple of ways because I don't think this is going to work very well. I'm going to go text the path and put it on that path. And see, that other path is actually giving me a little bit of trouble. But that's about as good as you're going to get it because of that sharpness. One of the suggestions I would take would be able to change it up a little bit. And let's take the 3-point curve line and let's go from there to there and just make this path a little less of a point. Now I'm actually going to save this because I want to show you another way in case this doesn't work. And if we're on this path, I ought to be able to get my virtual segment delete key and delete that. But that's not, so I'm going to nudge this out of the way now. And if you can see, these are broken lines. So the safest thing to do would be able to select everything with your pick tool and then hit the shape tool and grab those two nodes. And I just made a hotkey last night, I think, or yesterday. So a join. So a join though. If you don't have my hotkey, which you don't, unless you watch, you just go to Windows Dockers and join curves and do the same thing. Now let's see how it looks. We're going to grab text the path, and put on the path. And then we're going to look at it. That end was like right in the middle. That looks almost readable. Now let's take it and take all this and go up to object and break the text apart. So now we can grab our text only and nudge it back to our drawing. It's not as good as that, but to me it's more writable. And because we've got the path now, it's a little bit cannon-whoppered for somehow. There's the old text is still there. But you can kind of rotate it a little bit, make it look maybe a little bit, I don't know if it's just because that, and you can move this around. And you could still go up to object and break the apart. You still got to go here and go to object and break the text apart. Because then you could take these individual letters and move them around a little bit, actually rotate them a little bit. Take that E and rotate it. You'll always get the text tool if you don't click that X perfectly. Get the A. It's actually more readable than the regular, and now it's not as tall, so you'd want to make your font taller. The only other thing I could think about doing, and I'll make a second video on that, would be see how, it traced the lines pretty good, but look what it did to the font. So it just doesn't trace fonts. And it's too late, really, now that I've broken it all apart to make the font taller. But in the next video, I'll start with the font a little bit taller. But that, to me, I would be happy with that. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part 2.